moved on, quick, fast pace a little bit. I got married, my husband was in the Air Force, and he got posted away. So I had to make a change. So I went contracting. So going from Norwich Union, finance company, I went to work for a diesel engine manufacturers. Not just any diesel engines, the big, huge ones that you sit in trains. So I was initially responsible for one site, and that then grew. But I made a big mistake. A mistake that many of you may well have made, which was they offered me the salary or the rate per hour because I was contracting, and I went, oh yes, thank you very much. I didn't negotiate at all on my salary. I had no idea what I was worth. On my first day, I rocked up at this factory in Darlington. Is anybody from Darlington? Okay, I can say what I like then. Darlington's very, very northern. I was from Norwich. So I walked across the factory floor with big plant machines, with a hooter that tells you when it's lunchtime. Imagine the full Monty without the nakedness. And there were wolf whistles. My team, well, let's just say, middle-aged blokes didn't want a snip of a girl, especially a southern girl, coming in telling them how to do testing. In fact, they didn't actually want me there at all. The US parent company had instigated my employment. So, my initial reaction, lots of passive and aggressive behaviour and downright hostility. Can I run? Well, not really, still have a mortgage to pay. So I stuck it out. And I spoke to some of my mentors that I still had from my previous role, who gave me a piece of advice that has stuck with me ever since. Seek first to understand, and then to be understood. It's no good going as a leader saying, thou shalt do it my way. First of all, you've got to understand their perception and understand where they're coming from. Gradually, I became respected, even when I did the foolish thing of becoming pregnant and proving I was a girl once again. And I worked hard, really, really hard. I was first in, last out, on top of a 150-mile commute. I learned all of the programming languages that they worked with, learned how to compile the programs. I worked with global sourcing partners. I gained some extra sites to manage, Glasgow and Daventry. That was interesting. It was a funny time, so we had Glasgow, Daventry and Darlington, the US, Canada and India. A very interesting mix with 5 AM calls and 11 PM calls at night. We delivered as expected, but I still hadn't learned the lesson. I worked too many hours. I got into who's who's for young entrepreneur just based on the number of hours that I'd worked. That didn't necessarily mean that I was happy. I was offered a permanent job, but I had to turn them down to go and have a baby. Had a baby, went back to work very quickly because I was the main breadwinner. Again, through my network of contacts, not through going for a job on a board or anything like that, I was offered what I thought would be a great job. 3 days a week working from home, 2 days a week working in Dublin or Slough. Norwich Union International was being formed, a brand new business, lots of new systems, lots of new people to work with. Brand new teams to build from scratch. But I did come close to burnout. Because like many people, I kept trying to just work hard, work harder, work harder. That's how you're going to get on. That isn't necessarily the answer. So instead, after Dublin, I went back to Norwich and took on a role that in my head I thought would be perfect. I learned a few lessons. This time, I negotiated on my salary. I managed to get the same salary that I was earning before when I was in Dublin, for a lesser role. So I went back to being a test analyst. That didn't last very long because I soon got bored again. So I became the system test manager. In my head, I thought I'd made it. This was as far as I ever wanted to go. If I was going to hold on to some semblance of being a good mother, as well as taking my career forward, I'd mentally put on my comfy, if slightly frustrated, slippers at that level. I put my own glass ceiling in place. Completely made up in my head. partly for feelings of not being good enough, partly because of my own guilt complex about working, mother, all that sort of stuff all together, and also because I didn't have a plan that I was following. I hadn't put any goals in place about what I wanted for my family. Looking back, there were very few female leaders around, but I think I'm using that as an excuse. I was lucky. A few things happened. IBM joined us, which opened my eyes up to a broader industry, a different set of roles that could be out there. My network increased again, and I became exposed to that broader industry. I went on a training course that forced me to self-reflect and also think about what I wanted out of life. And then I saw some of you might like this bit, I saw some people get a promotion and I thought, nah, I'm as good as them. I should go for it. So I spoke to my boss's boss, and I swear this is how I spoke to him. Please, sir, please, in 2 to 3 years' time, if I work really, really hard and train really hard, maybe you'd consider me to be the test practice lead for the life part of the organisation. A week later, the job was mine. Life has carried on for me, and I've pretty much fulfilled most of my goals that I had originally. And that includes not just work things, it includes home things as well. So kayaking down the Amazon and Great North Run, writing books, all sorts of stuff I've been up to. And I've won Leader of the Year, and I've helped teams across the globe. And my team has won a lot of industry awards. I recognise that for me to feel fulfilled, I need to keep progressing. That doesn't mean necessarily promotion, it means learning something new. I know that I'm best working with people in fresh and challenging situations. And that's why software assurance, there was a link back to technology somewhere, continues to be a real passion for me. It's evolving at a phenomenal rate. We have to be part developer, part BA, part designer, part PM, and all tester. A great tester has to know every single type of testing. Our collective challenge is how we can make sure that all of our systems work as expected, as quickly as we expect, on any device 24/7 without the risk of data loss, corruption or misuse. So the lesson that I would give myself, to my younger self, or my own daughter, is you need to keep learning and developing yourself. You don't walk out of school, college or university with a finished article. I'm not a finished article, I've got a long, long way to go yet. Your adventure is only just beginning. Seek new experiences, watch others and listen. Come to events like this. Have fun. Learn from your mistakes, because they're the things that are really going to make a difference, because you'll have loads of mistakes. Get a mentor, build a network. Work out what your value is. If it feels wrong to say I'm worth X amount salary, look at what other people in the industry are getting, what they would be commanding, and then just apply it to that role that you're going after. The biggest thing is you need to dream big and make sure that you've got goals that help you to realise your dreams, because life is really just a big adventure. Thank you.